Good evening. I just came out of Age of Adaline, starring Blake Lively and Harrison Ford. I have been seeing trailers for this movie ever since late summer, so part of me has really actually been very curious about what this movie is going to look like. Not to mention, Blake Lively is absolutely stunningly gorgeous throughout this whole movie. So, as I've seen trailers throughout the last 7 or 8, 9 months for this thing, I thought, wow, this will be an interesting movie to see. And it definitely is. Blake Lively's character plays Adeline, who, through a set of freak circumstances, has now been blessed or cursed with the capacity to never age. So, as a consequence, with never aging, she lives an extra 70 or 80 years without ever aging. Therefore, she sees everybody around her pass away and die. And this becomes a big struggle for her. Well, we have to make sure Adeline is in a love story, which there is a love story in this movie, and she is in modern day San Francisco, and she falls in love, and there are challenges that go along with that because of her desire to keep her history under wraps. As we move along, things get more complicated. That I'm not going to get into too much because I don't want to ruin the movie for you. There's the pacing in this movie. It's a 2-hour movie. I did feel like it was 3 hours. The first 2/3 of it were slow. For a love story, I don't know that it felt like the two characters connected tightly. I didn't feel like they were in love, although she has to keep a part of herself from him, which may be a lesson in why you should fall in love when you're ready and not just fall in love, period. But that'll be for another time and another video. Yeah, but it does show up that there's a tension there that carries on throughout the whole movie, I should say. And I think it also challenges me to think about aging in our day and age of wanting to stay young and youthful. We see in this movie that I think does an excellent job of portraying the downside to it. And I've always felt, in my personal opinion, that ever since the earth was created, that we were ultimately meant to die. And even in my Judeo-Christian background and teaching, I still believe that we were put on this earth to ultimately die. Because if you think about it, if we all lived, we'd run out of resources. And I think there's a gift and a beauty to aging that even at 42, I'm finding that gift and beauty of aging. And in Adeline's character, you get to see, while her face doesn't age, you get to experience. That's one of the neat things about her, is that she gets to experience all these various decades, but yet she does have this burden of not being able to age, which I know we can't. It's hard for us to fathom because we want to stay young. We put on creams and get Botox and exercise and do everything we can to stay youthful, when ultimately know that age is going to catch up to us. So I would definitely go out and see the movie. It does have an odd, the movie that is, an odd feel. It feels like a fairy tale parable, and you really pick that up at the very beginning and the end, and so it is kind of hard to know what trajectory the director and the writer is shooting for. So that's one thing to be conscientious of as you go into this movie. It was a pretty packed audience. A lot of women, females in the audience, some older folks. There were some good trailers, and again, they're not the summer blockbusters, so I always have a hard time. There's a Mark Ruffalo movie that's coming out about him being a father, while he is a father, but he has direct care over his kids while his wife has to go out and go to school and take on a job. The boxing movie also came out again with Jake Gyllenhaal. I think that's how you pronounce his name. That's going to be coming out, I think, in the fall, and I think that was about it. It was an interesting weekend for movies because not only did Adeline come out, but also the sci-fi movie came out, whose name I've forgotten, as well as the Russell Crowe movie. that has me fascinated. So I will catch those. Definitely want to catch a sci-fi thing. The Russell Crowe movie, I'm not so sure about. I'll give it a shot. But um, I gotta say, seeing Harrison Ford and realizing that in just 8 months, the next movie he'll be in, I did almost start crying as I left the theater. So go out and see Age of Adaline. I think you'll enjoy it. And you have a great night and a good weekend, and we'll see you for Friday morning. I'm going to go see Age of Ultron. I'd like to go see it Thursday night, but I've got to work. So I'm going to go see it Friday morning. And it'll probably have a lot of spoilers in it. I'm going to see it multiple times throughout the summer. And each time I see it, I'll probably have a different take on it. That's the hope, anyway. You have a good night. Bye.